All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today for a live briefing. I'm Jennifer Bender. I'm with the Prairie Lakes Healthcare System, and I'm also one of the public information officers with the COVID Task Force here in the Watertown area. Before we get going today, I just have a brief update from the healthcare sector. Currently, we have 10 hospitalizations or around there. It's a very fluid number hospitalized for COVID here at Prairie Lakes. So people throughout the region utilize our hospital, so that may or may not be people just in Cottington County. Prairie Lakes is very, very busy right now, as people may have heard throughout the community of how busy the different hospitals throughout our entire state are. So this is not just Prairie Lakes that is very busy. The clinics are busy with testing, hospitals in our entire state and region are busy, and this is not just for COVID patients, but for patients with all sorts of different conditions and recovering. So it's very important right now, more than ever, to be following CDC guidelines, be wearing your mask, social distancing, not getting together in large gatherings, because we really need to prevent the spread of COVID-19, not just to protect yourself, but to protect each other. So up first today, we have Mayor Caron.
Good afternoon. Today is Thursday, October 1st, 2020. In South Dakota, we had 747 new cases reported today, but that number is somewhat skewed. We think it's 502 in the last 24 hours, still a high number. The remaining 245 are from sometime over the last week. So currently, all across the state, we have 214 people hospitalized with COVID, and we've had 236 deaths. In Cottington County, we have 48 new cases reported today and a total of 194 active cases in our county. In the 9-county region, which our healthcare system serves, we have 414 active cases. With our COVID numbers rising sharply, the school district acted quickly to move the high school to online learning and to shut down some of the activities that were going on. And this was the right thing to do. And we still have high numbers, but we must stay vigilant. And we think that this will keep things under control when we take quick action in response to what's going on. So far, we've been able to keep most of our businesses open. Most of the workplaces have had some COVID cases, but they've been able to keep their doors open for the most part. And that's our goal, is to keep things open, even though things are being done differently. So we need to remain vigilant. You need to keep washing your hands, staying home if you're sick, wearing the mask, avoiding crowds, all of that stuff. And I would like people to know that Cottington County does have a plan for vaccine distribution when vaccine becomes available. And we're thinking that hopefully will be soon. And I want people to realize that when it's available, we have a very timely and efficient distribution plan, and it will go into place. We have a well-organized and established POD team. POD stands for Point of Distribution, and that's a group that meets regularly and practices every year. It's been going on for years. This is not a new thing because of COVID. It's something we've been doing in our county to prepare for a pandemic, and here we go. So luckily, we're in good hands here. We have well-experienced people ready with a plan when the vaccine becomes available so that we don't have chaos when that time comes. And with that, I would like to introduce Dr. Danielsen from the Watertown School District.
Good afternoon. I'm Jeff Danielsen, Superintendent at the Watertown School District, with a little bit of an update here on the Watertown Public School System. A great announcement I have today is that it actually began today. All students K-12 in the Watertown School District will receive free breakfast and lunch This is through the Coronavirus Relief Fund that began in March. That will run through the end of calendar year 2020. So for now, it will go until either the end of December, or if federal funds would happen to run out before then. But for now, all breakfast and lunch for students in K-12 is free. Those are being served at all buildings. So for those parents watching, you can send your child to school for breakfast in the mornings, and their lunch will also be free if they are eating school lunch. As Mayor Caron mentioned, we did have 2 weeks where our high school went virtual with no activities due to a high number of positives and close contact quarantines. Those numbers reached over 40 positive cases and about 275 close contacts. So over a fourth of our high school students would have been quarantined for most of those 2 weeks, thus the decision to go virtual. And that will resume next week with activities as well as in-person school. And then on Friday at a special meeting of the Watertown School Board, we did adopt new guidelines and procedures for close contacts. Right now, the Department of Health is recommending a 14-day quarantine for a student that is in close contact with a COVID positive. The COVID positives should still follow all directives from the Department of Health, and the recommendation from Department of Health is still a 14-day quarantine if you are considered a close contact. So within 6 feet for 15 minutes or more is the definition of a close contact. That is still recommended by the Department of Health. However, if a student is wearing a mask, the Watertown School District would allow for a quarantine of a 72-hour period with a return following that if the student and the families would let their child be temp checked, continue to wear a mask, and then socially distance where permitted. Again, the recommendations are still for the 14 days, but if the student is preemptively or proactively wearing a mask, the Watertown School District would allow a 72-hour quarantine period with the enhanced safety precautions to come back for the remainder of the 14 days. We are also changing our language on masks at school buildings to say that they are expected. We would ask that families send a mask with their child each day, as we are expecting them to wear masks, and that would include at our activities as well as on our buses and then at our school facilities. Finally, as mentioned by the mayor, large gatherings right now are not a good idea. The harvest for the Arrowhead Foundation has been canceled. The in-person portion of that would have been on this Saturday. That has been canceled, but you still can participate by going to the Arrowhead website, and there is a virtual auction as well as other opportunities if you'd like to give to that. Now I would turn it over to Diane Stiles from Lake Area Tech.
Good afternoon. I'm Diane Stiles, the Vice President at Lake Area Tech. I'm here to give an update on COVID at Lake Area Tech. As the community did spike, we also saw an increase of cases at Lake Area Tech. However, we are still able to meet our 2 goals of protecting those most at risk and then continuing on-campus instruction. For those students that are isolated or quarantined, they're able to continue their education online, and thanks to the flexibility of our instructors to rearrange maybe theory time and lab time, we've been able to still meet those learning outcomes during this time and flex to the needs of the students. So because of the spike in the community and what we're seeing on campus, we're retaining our screening measures at the doors, and we're also continuing our on-campus precautions. They've proven to reduce the number of close contacts on campus, and so we're continuing those as we enter into the last half of our semester. As far as the number of cases go, we have 5 active student cases, 2 of which are online. We have 25 students that are quarantined, and there are 65 students that have recovered. As far as employees go, we have 1 positive active case, and we have 8 quarantined. We do have 5 of the 8 employees on campus using additional precautions under the essential worker clause, so they're able to continue and still use precautions to keep our campus community safe. And we have 4 employees recovered. These numbers do not include the dual status students. So far, we've had no campus spread where a case has been attributed to someone who had contact with someone else on campus, and we've had no hospitalizations. As we approach midterm, we're really focusing on mental health. We've been navigating our way through the pandemic for about 7 months now, and everyone is getting tired, and we have an incredible mental health staff that are sending out resources to students, and midterm is always a tough time anyway as we approach the holiday season and as maybe midterm exams happen. So we're really focusing on the mental health aspect currently to support students as well as supporting those that are impacted by COVID. So with that, I'd like to introduce Kim Bellum, the director of Mount Marty University campus in Watertown.
Thank you, Diane. I'm Kim Bellum from Mount Marty University, and just to give you a quick update as well, next week is our week 7, and it's midterm for us, so we'll be ending our first 7-week classes, the short-term classes, and then getting ready to start the second set of 7-week classes. Our students have been doing a very good job maneuvering through the COVID and the requirements that we have, following the guidelines the same as what is set on the campus of Lake Area Tech. And so as of today, we have 3 staff that are either in close contact or quarantined out at this time, and 4 students, and only 1 of those has tested positive. The other 3 are on a quarantine due to close contact. So we feel out of our student body of 94 that we're doing very well. They're being very mindful and respectful because we too have been able to maintain our on-campus classes, and we're very appreciative of that and the efforts that they're making. I would echo what Diane said. As we approach midterm, this always gets to be a tough time for students, and things become a little bit overwhelming, and they become a little bit weary, and so we are again asking them to stay vigilant. We can still do things. We're maneuvering through this. Mount Marty was very fortunate to have their ribbon cutting last week, and outside, socially distant, to celebrate our name change and our new location on the north end of Lake Area Tech's campus. And it was a very fun event. It was a nice event. We had a lot of students there, and again, wearing masks, and we were able to have the event and yet still be cognizant of the requirements that we need to do to stay vigilant in this pandemic. So we appreciate that, and I thank you for this opportunity. John.
Good afternoon once again. My name is John Meyer. I'm the superintendent of the Waverly-South Shore School. The school year is progressing very well for us over at Waverly-South Shore. Thus far, we've experienced minimal disruption due to the ongoing COVID pandemic. At this time, we currently have 1 student under quarantine awaiting test results, 0 staff members out as either close contacts or positive cases, and as of right now, we still have had 0 student cases of COVID-19 at Waverly-South Shore. To date for the school year, again, 0 student cases, a total of 3 staff members. While we're very happy to be able to report these numbers, we do realize that this is a reflection of good fortune, really nothing more, nothing less. But realizing that does underscore the importance of continuing to remain vigilant in all of our efforts to help prevent the spread of COVID-19. Continue with social distancing, continue wearing a mask. At Waverly-South Shore, we do remain on Tier 1 for our activities attendance. Again, Tier 1 is open attendance. We continue utilizing our hybrid instructional calendar with 4 days of in-person learning, but Wednesday is designated as our remote learning day. We are continuing our practice of reviewing our return to school plan on an ongoing basis and a monthly basis at our school board meetings. We'll be doing so again at our school board meeting next week. Our emphasis really is doing everything that we possibly can to stay in front of this pandemic as much as humanly possible and continue to offer the highest quality instruction and as much face-to-face instruction as we can on an ongoing basis. Like Dr. Danielsen had mentioned with Watertown qualifying for the free student meals, we're awaiting word on our application for the same program. We'll hopefully be receiving word on that application in the coming days, and I hope to have some good news to share with our Coyote family as well. On a related note, you may have seen our former superintendent, John Bjorkman, on news reports as an individual who has contracted COVID-19. Experienced some health difficulties. I can't give too much of an update at this time, but I can say that it is still an ongoing struggle, and continued prayers for his recovery are greatly appreciated. With that, I would like to turn the microphone over to Matt Bastian, principal at Florence High School.
Thanks, John. Good afternoon. I'm Matt Bastian, middle school, high school principal at the Florence School District. We're proud to say that our numbers are currently down at the Florence School District. Our staff, students, and community have done a great job following procedures and protocol to ensure our decline in our numbers. We can continue to be diligent in our close contacts and are working to communicate with our families. At a special board meeting in September, the Florence School Board adopted a new set of procedures to adhere to in regards to our quarantined students. That information is located on our website at www.florence.k12.sd.us. We understand that our student safety comes first, but also understand the importance of having our students in the building. We believe our new set of procedures helps with both of those. At our next monthly board meeting, we'll also evaluate our current state and look at our procedures in place. We understand that each school is making decisions to best fit their district and their students, and we plan to continue to do the same. Currently, our numbers in Florence are, we have 3 positive cases in the student body, along with 15 quarantined students. Currently, we are fortunate to have 0 staff members that are out due to COVID-19. We appreciate your support and flexibility during these fluid times, and if anybody has any questions, to call the high school or to call the office at 758-2412 with any questions and concerns. Thank you, and I believe I turn it over to Officer.
All right, thank you everyone from the education groups here coming in to give us an update on what's going on in our school district. And there is a lot going on there, and I appreciate everyone's efforts to help curb the COVID outbreak here. So I have one thing I'd like to mention. I know there's a lot of questions out there people might have in response to COVID and different things they should do or not do. And I'd like to remind everyone in Connington County that you can call 211 if you're looking for help or a resource and you're not sure where to turn. Go ahead and call 211 and they will get you to the right organization or service for what you're looking for and help you find that assistance you need. And another great thing that 211 provides is they also have people that are trained in suicide and crisis support. So if you're feeling kind of off or you need some help, don't be afraid to call 211 and get some help there. You can also go online at helplincenter.org. That's helplincenter.org for 211. So please reach out there rather than just calling maybe the clinics or hospitals and having just general questions. Go ahead and call 211 and get those general questions answered, and they can point you in the right direction. With that, that's all that I have today, and so we'll turn it over to the media if there are any questions from the media today. And hearing that silence, it leads me to believe there are no questions from the media today. So at this time, we will end our briefing for the day. And thank you again to everyone that came to speak and give an update. And we'll be back again next Thursday again at 3 p.m. And we'll be giving you another update then as well. Thank you, everyone. Have a great rest of your day.